audience who might not quite understand how some of this technology works. I mean, the programs are the same program or application that you would have on your computer, but instead of being on your computer, they're actually stored on a server somewhere else in the world, and you just access it. Is that
pretty much?
Pretty much?
So the applications are out there. They can be anywhere. Your data, you could specify where you want to have it, or it could be anywhere, but you might say, oh, I just want my data to be in Canada, so you try to just keep it in Canada. Or it could be replicated other places. You have access to your applications and your data anywhere on either your smartphone or a tablet or your computer, but basically it's out there, so you can access it from different machines anytime you want.
The catch to that, though, is you need access to the internet, right? I mean, you won't be able to have stuff on the cloud and then be able to connect with it offline, right?
Pretty much, although you can have it sort of, if you have enough power on your local machine, you could have a local copy, but it's like the cell phone, or it's like electricity, or it's like water, or wireless, access to wireless. Yeah, it's becoming more ubiquitous, but yeah, you do need a network connection.
Okay, and so, I mean, that sounds really interesting, and I can see how the applications are there, but some of the big concerns I would have are privacy and security. I mean, can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So lots of things are so that's maybe the first concern or the main concern that people bring up. But there are ways to address it. And if somebody's thinking about moving into the cloud, you might take an assessment of all your applications and all your data and say, well, there's some that maybe right now I don't want to move into the cloud yet, but there are others that you definitely do. So it can be addressed. The more private you want to keep the information, maybe you want to wait a few years before you move it into the cloud, but basically everything will ultimately move out there. It may take a few years, but security can be better in the cloud because we have IT experts who run this as a utility and are very concerned about security and privacy. It's up to your own, either your personal beliefs or your corporate policy about what you put in the cloud.
So is the cloud itself, I mean, the cloud is a term like the internet, like nobody owns the internet, correct? So nobody owns the cloud. There's just people that use it and then service providers of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like, there's different cell phone providers, let's say, and they all share the same error when you deliver the cell service. The cloud providers, they say they share the same internet backbones to deliver this. Some of them may even be in the same data centers, and they're scattered about around the world. So yeah, it's a whole sort of new utility infrastructure that's building up. Another analogy is the electrical grid. So there's different power plants that provide electricity. They all share the electricity grid. And they cooperate, so in some ways they compete, but they cooperate in some ways in delivering this. So cloud service providers, some of them deliver different things, and they compete, but they also cooperate in certain things too, especially building standards and moving the industry forward. So that's what the Canadian Cloud Council really does. It tries to educate people about what the cloud is. But also promote our Canadian cloud service providers, software as a service companies, infrastructure as a service companies, consultants who work in cloud. So we try to bring all these people together. It's a growing industry, and try to get them to network and educate each other.
How large is the industry, and how much is it growing? Do you know?
Oh, well, conservatively, it's growing at 20% a year or so. Okay. You hear about the death of laptops and the death of desktops, and now the death of laptops and more mobile devices. Well, as that industry somewhat declines, the cloud industry is growing. So there's huge potential growth worldwide and in Canada.
So that actually makes me think about an interesting point. If I have an application on the cloud, we'll say some editing software, which is a pretty processor-intensive program. Mm-hmm. Okay, you're telling me that it might even be possible with my mobile device to use it on a phone that couldn't handle that normally, but can access the cloud. I mean, that's a hype.
Essentially, and so right now, all of the Adobe suite is in the cloud, but right now it actually gets downloaded onto your laptop, and it's just a license manager that is managed in the cloud. But as the cloud progresses, that kind of software will, and digital, other that kind of software and engineering software and high-end software like that resides in the cloud. You pay a monthly use, and you can also run it on whatever kind of computer you want. So if you want lots of processors and lots of power to do a digitization or that kind of process, you just run all that in the cloud. You don't have to buy your own servers and equipment to do that. And I run Creative Suite in the cloud. I just doodle a little bit with those tools, but I don't buy licenses for devices anymore. I buy cloud utility-based metered use.
I mean, that sounds like a real game changer. Hey,
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, not just
bigger than this is big. I think actually email was a huge game changer. The web is a huge game changer. This is actually, I think, the most significant shift. We're now shifting from, it's sort of like I could go on and about what the kind of shift it is, but where I see having your own desktop or laptop being like having your own fire pit energy source, and now actually, so instead of everybody having their own generator or their own cave or fire pit or whatever, and we move all of these resources into a consolidated utility. It's much more efficiently run. It's much more powerful, and you just crank up the amount of power that you want when you want it, and it's on a pay-per-use model. It is absolutely a game changer.
Wow, that's really cool. So can you talk to me? You said that the Canadian Cloud Council does events. What's your next event?
Yeah. So we hold one event a year, one national event a year. So our big national event, we just held one in March 2013. So our next one isn't until next April 2014 in Banff. But what we're also doing is we're starting up sort of meetups in cities, and these are sort of local user groups or local cloud communities. They're forming around at different cities in Canada, and so I don't have all of them in my head at this point. But so I suggest that people go to our website, CanadianCloudCouncil.ca, and a list of upcoming events will be on there. And yes, our next national event is April 2014 in Banff.
So you seem pretty passionate about this. I mean,
I am. I've been working in distributed computing and all kinds of computing for years and years and years, and this is a big one.
Cool, but it's not your only hat. You wear other hats, hey?
I do. So
why don't you tell me about another group that you work with?
Sure. So yeah, I've been involved in computing, information technology for a long time in Canada. But I actually have a new position as of January, and this is I'm really passionate about this one too. So this is with the Alberta Science and Technology Leadership Foundation Awards, and so a lot of people know of us as the ABCTECH Awards, the ABCTECH Foundation. So this is our 23rd year in Alberta. We've been giving out awards in Alberta for these 23 years across the spectrum. So from research to applied technology, to startup awards, to commercialization awards. And so that's across the innovation spectrum, and also across all different sectors. So energy, environment, agriculture, and information communications technology. So we give out 12 to 15 awards every year. We have this huge gala party in the fall of each year. It alternates between Calgary and Edmonton. So the next one is October 25th in Calgary. But next year's is our 25th anniversary in Edmonton. So we're going to have a fabulous party this year, but then we're going to even have even better 25th anniversary celebration next year. And actually, so very important to note is right now is call for nomination season, and and we have fabulous researchers, companies, individuals, teams across Alberta.
Who nominates and who can be nominated?
Yeah.
Like individuals, companies?
So, yeah, the awards they can be for individuals or teams or companies. you'll see, it's outstanding contribution to science, outstanding contribution to technology, outstanding startup. So you can see what the list of the awards are. Anybody can nominate. You can nominate yourself, but usually, like, somebody just says, "I know this company or this person who, like, is the best in Alberta and should be nominated for this." So there's an online nomination. Nominations close May 31st, so it's May 15th now, so there's 3 weeks left. And I really, really encourage people to nominate. And then...
Do you get a lot of nominations?
We give out 12 to 15 awards. Winners. We have 25 honorees, so we honor 25 people, and we get about 100 nominations. So you get 100. They filter down a little bit to the top 25, and then from the top 25 we go to 12 to 15. So the online nomination form, go to aztech.ca, ASTECH.ca, Aztech. We're the ABCTECH Foundation.
And so is the ABCTECH Foundation specifically just the awards, or is there more to that as well?
We promote the importance of science, technology, and innovation in the province. But we do it primarily by having this awards program. Okay. We do a little bit more outreach here and there, but it's primarily inspiring innovation through recognizing and celebrating. We think science, technology, innovators are heroes. So this is, like we saw in the video yesterday, there's so many inspiring stories and so many people doing awesome things. So we want to find all those great people who are doing innovation and just celebrate that that's important. Come to it's like the Academy Awards it's a black tie event, black tie gowns, it's a big formal event, and we make our science, technology, and innovators heroes.
Science is way cooler when there's a big gala.
Yeah,
I think
that's great.
So can you talk? Both of these organizations, the ABCTECH Foundation and the Canadian Cloud Council, are involved with this event. So why is this event so important for both organizations, and why is this event important not only for the organizations that are sponsoring it and involved, but for the audience and the people who are participating?
All right. So this event is big data, analytics, and the cloud. So the cloud part is obvious with the Canadian Cloud Council. But now the big data and analytics are actually coming together, somewhat enabled by the cloud. So you're gonna have lots of data, and now we can do more with that, and that's the analytics. So just like the Cloud Council brings together the cloud community, this is bringing together that broad community that deals with data and analytics. And there is, in Alberta, there's some good expertise specifically in some of the foundational work for analysis. So there's a supply of really bright people in Alberta who can do this kind of work. And then we have the companies who actually have the data, have the need to have it analyzed. So having an event like this is just bringing together some smart people who can do big data analytics in the cloud with some the user community who needs big data analytics in the cloud. So
we're going to go to break here, and then when we come back from break, we're going to be in Edmonton. But before we go, I'm meeting all of these really interesting people and these really interesting companies, and I'm realizing that there seems to be like this big hidden technological gem in Alberta. Calgary seems to have a lot of tech startups. Edmonton definitely has a lot of innovators, but yet we're on the world stage for oil and gas. So do you think that we can take that stage presence of our resources and then redirect that into our innovators?
So this is a difficult balancing act when you have, and I don't want to call the energy sector the elephant in the room, but they're so big, they dominate, and agriculture is big too. But ICT or tech, let's say tech broadly, is also growing in size. So we'll always, for tens, maybe hundreds of years, still have our energy sector. But we also want to develop new economy type jobs and all of that. So we should work together more. We should respect each other more. Like, but there are ways to work together, and there are also different industries. So I still champion that we shouldn't. All of our tech shouldn't just go into energy. I think we should, try to grow tech itself. But obviously, it's very good to have big customers, like the big energy customers locally. So if we're going to build, say, an analytics industry, you can sell to some local customers, which are big international worldwide energy companies. You can sell them locally. You can have a good first customer or anchor customer who can help you grow then. But I think our tech companies, shouldn't be just looking to energy and shouldn't be just looking to Alberta. You look worldwide, and you look, as an ICT company or a biotech company or a chemical company or an analytics company. This is a good place to grow from. We have a highly educated population. It's a great place to live. People want to live here, so we can have high-tech companies here.
Clouds are borderless.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so we're going to cut to break, and when we're back, we'll be in Edmonton. Thank you very much. This is Lynn Sutherland, and I am Benjamin Ryder.
Join the conversation next year as more cities become data-driven. Become a community partner. Contact us at info@abctech.ca.